the book, we're talking about the artists and specifically their personalities and whatever, and their clothing style. But in specifically in 33 and a third, about you mentioned that you're more interested in the music than the musician. But yet, it seems like I was kind of curious about that statement. What you want to kind of elaborate on what that
Yeah.
means?
Well, that was one of those things that I was targeted for a little bit. Is because it once somebody said, well, he insists on talking about the notes, right, and the production and music and text together, and but Roxy Music is this whole kind of product, but I always thought that a lot of people have talked about the product and the look and the fact that if you take Roxy Music album and you contrast it with something out of the grunge era, you're dealing with two different worlds altogether, right? So I actually, I wanted to figure out how those songs were made, because I always thought that I don't teach popular music history. I always thought if you were going to do it, you'd have to teach the history of production and producers. And so given the fact that compared to other forms of music, Richard Strauss, you're dealing with a modest syntax and you're dealing with shorter forms. But one of the things that I noticed with Brian Ferry was that he was a marvelous tunesmith, really great hooks with very minimal gestures, and a voice that's a fairly narrow register. And looking at how he took his voice and the change in the sound of that voice over the course of time, which was a product of production, I wanted to actually see what happened at the end of his career, in which he basically created, a work of art of an album in which the voice is in this kind of utopian space, and how that was made. So I was really interested in putting that all together. And here, just talking about his look and affect and onstage persona and what he's like as a person, all of that was fascinating. But ultimately, when I was given the task of writing a book about the album, I did the only thing I know how to do, really, which is to write about the notes and figure out how it was put together. And I actually thought, to continue my education, that I might as well try and learn something about how records were made in the 70s through different types of production techniques.